Doing. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News. God bless everybody that is watching. Breaking information coming in from Panama. I was just there a couple of days ago as I was reporting on the closing of the Darien Gap, the new solution that the president of Panama has chosen, President Molino. The new elected president of Panama has decided to close the Darien Gap. He has closed five out of the 8 routes. He has closed 5 of them inside of the Darien Gap, which Ben Berquam and myself, we have walked those routes, and he had put concertina wire on this specific routes. Due to that factor, the cartel now in Colombia has only had one option to traffic all these people into one specific route. And because of this incredible strategy of the center front officials, the border angels of the jungle, the best authorities right now in the continent, they rerouted all of the people to one specific point, where this specific point, they're coming into a checkpoint. On this specific checkpoint, they have detected several individuals that they are, have violent criminal, background. And today, they have, yesterday, I apologize, late in the afternoon, they identified 3 well-known gang terrorists. 2 of them, they belong to an Ecuadorian gang that is called Los Lobos, that is practically at the same level as the Tren de Aragua, as the MS gang, practically at the same level. And one other individual from Colombia was detected as having a prior for violence and homicides in his country. All of these individuals, they were crossing the Darien jungle on their way to the United States of America. So imagine this administration of Panama doing the enormous work, not only to save their sovereign nation in Panama, but ultimately saving the sovereign nations and the borders all over Central America and also North America, that practically they are going to the United States of America. This was the report, and let me just put the video on, and let me just I will read the explanation of the Minister of Security. His name is Frank Abrego. I will put the video on in Spanish, and then I will translate in English for people to understand how dangerous this is and how aggravating this is, and how many of these individuals are already in the countries like Mexico, or are already in the countries like the United States of America. How many of them? One is too many. And, Panamanian government, it is doing all that they can to detect these kind of individuals and to ultimately do an enormous and great job right now, as they are doing right now. So let me just hold on right here 1 minute. Let me put this right here on the bottom so I can read specifically what it is happening. So let me put the video so you guys can see it, and then I will translate in English.
De la Blanca, donde se detectó la presencia de 2 ecuatorianos que son miembros de una de las pandillas más peligrosas en Ecuador y que hoy día ya están en manos de las autoridades respectivas de nuestro país.
Mediante captación biométrica en la estación temporal receptora de migrantes de Laja Blanca, se pudo conocer lo siguiente: a un ciudadano de nacionalidad colombiana de 54 años de edad, arrojando un match biométrico, el cual refleja que es miembro de un grupo considerado terrorista. Además, se mantiene información de interés. El sujeto presuntamente mantiene 2 órdenes de captura por homicidio en Colombia. Será puesta a orden del Servicio Nacional de Migración para los trámites correspondientes.
Doing an excellent job. Let me just go back to the video. This is the new minister of security. He was the first center front official, the border agency of Panama. This is what it says. It says in the Lajas Blancas migrant camp. Let me just put the video on the background so you guys can on the Lajas Blancas migrant camps, there were presence of 2 Ecuadorians who were members of one of the most dangerous gangs in Ecuador. They were detected. They are now detained by the Panamanian authorities after conducting biometric inspections. 3 individuals who belong to the gang-related criminal groups categorized as terrorists were detected entering the Panamanian territory. The 2 Ecuadorians were part of the transnational organized crime group known as Los Lobos, as the Wolves. As a result of the biometric examinations, it was found that one of the two Ecuadorians had a criminal record for homicide and drug trafficking, and the other one for drug trafficking. On the other hand, in another police action, a Colombian citizen was also located who provided information indicating that he belongs to a group that is considered to be a terrorist and that ultimately also allegedly has 2 arrest warrants for homicide in his country of origin. These are the kind of people that they were directing themselves into the United States of America. This is the Biden administration. This is the open border policies of Alejandro Mayorkas. This is you. I don't know how many thousands or how many hundreds you have let in with this category or this, basically this letter of presentation to enter your country. You don't have no filter in your border. You don't have absolute no control at your border. And these 3 individuals are just an example as this new administration is just kicking off from closing the Darien, from not letting these kind of criminals walk inside of their jungle. And because of this minister of security, who is going to become a hero of the nation of Panama, and not only a hero of the nation of Panama, but a quite example of law and order into the whole continent. Behind him, you can see actually the new director of Centerfront. On his right hand, it is Mr. Jorge Gobea, another heroic agent, another heroic director. He's director of the border agency of Centerfront. They have detected 3 criminals, 3 gang terrorists that they were directing themselves into the United States of America. Their whole purpose was to go to the United States of America. How many of these have already gone into the United States of America? Well, one is too many. I believe that, a lot of them have already entered your country. This is why it is, some of the cities are collapsing with violence, are basically, enlarging with illegal activity and illicit activity. And today, the Panamanian government, and as I have told you before, small countries are putting an example to first-class world countries. Third world class countries are putting an example to first class world countries of how to protect their borders. Nayib Bukele, it is putting a great example in his country. Molino, the president of Panama, it is putting a great example to the countries of how to protect their borders and how to conduct biometrics they're conducting. In the United States of America, if they wanted to conduct biometrics, that was considered racist by the ACLU and all these other humanitarian, ultimately human rights organizations. But now you are seeing that in Panama, they're acting and conducting this law and order because they're protecting their citizens. They're protecting the most vulnerable, that are the migrants that are walking in these horrible conditions inside of the Darien. And not only that, they're also protecting the sovereignty of other borders, because these individuals, that there are 3 critical individuals, 2 of them, they were from this violent and delinquent gang that it is called Los Lobos. It is almost same as categorized as violent as the Tren de Aragua violent gang from Venezuela, and also as same as violent as the MS gang from El Salvador. This is the problem. This is the aggravated problem. The aggravated problem is that how many of these individuals have already crossed, have already been placed inside of the United States of America? And ultimately, not only that, how many have already crossed into several borders? Ultimately, there's too many. And there has been an insecure border along the way, because all these international organizations, what they have been doing, it is just protecting individuals that they have this criminal background, and they are directing themselves into other countries like the United States of America, where you have seen individuals that they have criminal backgrounds. They are committing crimes inside of the United States of America, horrible crimes as homicide, as rape, as abuse, as stealing, robbing, looting, all these crimes that they are committed consistently. So these individuals were stopped. 2 of them are from a violent gang from Ecuador that is called Los Lobos. They were detected by biometrics that they are not conducting, that I believe that is an incredible strategy, that I believe that they're doing incredible work, and this needed to be done. Now, Panama, Centerfront, the Minister of Security, the Minister of the Director of Immigration of Panama, putting an example to the whole continent on how to detect and how to do a biometric exam, and how to also ultimately stop these individuals from moving forward into other borders to cause harm. As they were detected, they are going to be returned back into their countries so they can be, possibly, investigated for the crimes that they're going to be, they have committed. And, one of them was running away from homicide, a crime that he committed in Colombia. It's unbelievable. The situation has been so aggravated. I was just there 3 days ago in this migrant camp. 3 days ago, I was just there in this migrant camp. You don't know who you are surrounded with. You don't know who you are surrounded around with. You don't know who you are talking to in these kind of conditions. You don't even know who you are walking with. But this is, what the Biden administration has caused and what the Biden administration has developed. When you have an open border and you're incentivizing the people to enter illegally or irregularly through a non-port of entry, you will have people like this coming through your borders and entering and ultimately demanding to stay because they're going to say this is my human right, but not knowing that they are actually there to cause harm and still commit crimes and to still not, be, to just basically be rehabilitated and to be a better human being and a better citizen. A lot of them, they go over there and they commit another crime and they commit another crime. So today, the heroes, again, are the authorities of Panama, as they have doing an impeccable job on basically detecting and stopping these criminals from moving forward and from crossing barriers and from crossing borders. The angels of the jungle, like I have described them, and I keep describing them like that. They are protecting not only their borders and their sovereign nation, but also they're protecting other borders. So we need to thank them today as they stop 3 criminals from crossing every border, directing themselves into the country like mine in Mexico, and ultimately into the country of the United States of America. So today we need to thank this guy, Mr. Minister of Security, Mr. Frank Abrego, the guy behind him, the director of Panama, the director of Centerfront, Mr. Jorge Gobea, and all the authorities that they are conducting this, exacerbated and meticulous inspection inside of the Darien to stop bad people. There's a lot of vulnerable people that they're coming, but there's also bad people. And you are seeing right now, evidence is clear. 3 of these individuals were related to gang terrorism, and they were stopped, and they are going to be returned back into their countries. As 2 of them from El Salvador, from a really critical and dangerous gang called Los Lobos, and one of them had homicide, record and pending homicide sentence, apparently in Colombia. Difficult, dangerous, yes. How many of them have already crossed into the United States of America? Whew. I don't know. It is not creating hysteria. It is not a conspiracy theory. It is not white supremacy. It is the reality. These kind of individuals are moving forward from south of the border into the north of the border, and you actually have seen evidence of how many of them are entering the United States of America not to help, just to cause harm. A lot of them. How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News. This is a breaking news report. As we have informed, the Border Agency of Panama, Centerfront, has detected 3 individuals who have been detained and stopped. The report says like this. Let me read it again for everybody to understand what I'm talking about. In the Lajas Blancas migrant camp, where the presence of 2 Ecuadorians who are members of one of the most dangerous gangs in Ecuador were detected, they are now detained by the Panamanian authorities after conducting biometric inspections. 3 individuals who belong to gang-related criminal groups categorized as terrorists were detected entering the Panamanian territory. The 2 Ecuadorians were part of the transnational organized crime group known as Los Lobos. As a result of the biometric examinations, it was found that one of the 2 Ecuadorians had a criminal record for homicide and drug trafficking, and the other one for drug trafficking. On the other hand, in another police action, a Colombian citizen was also located who provided information indicating that he belongs to a group considered terrorist and allegedly has 2 arrest warrants for homicide in his country of origin. Thank you so much for joining in. God bless you all. This has been an informative report and a breaking news report. I will come back if something else. It is extremely important like this, as the Panamanian authorities are heroes of the continent from saving borders from these kind of individuals and crossing into every country. God bless you all. And like we always say, people, God's plan, it is our mission.